Hey everyone, today I want to talk about a topic called the flavors of anxiety. I got the name of this video for someone I coach, and I really enjoyed the way they put that because that phrase really does encompass the way physical symptoms of anxiety, whether it's the actual anxiety sensations in of themselves, heart palpitations, blurry vision, irritability, stuttering, shakes, and then how it even plays into manifestations of, gut problems, diarrhea, bloating, gassy, headaches, pressure behind your eyes, and any other health-related scares where it's pains in your heart, aneurysm, cancer scares. So physical symptoms of anxiety they're very illusionary in people thinking it only comes in heart palpitations or, sweaty or the typical anxiety sensations that the average person thinks of, but it's much, much deeper than just that. So before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this topic. This is something that really affected me. Physical symptoms of anxiety were some of my largest fears. I really feared these sensations being here for the remainder of my life. So I'm going to talk about why it's so important to break down the fear of fear. And I'm going to go into some of the health stuff as well. And if you're really struggling with physical symptoms, if you have health OCD, we can help you. Very catered, specialized ways to change your behaviors and break down your beliefs. They're very, very customizable to the person. Please email us at phil@ocdrecovery.com and we'll get back to you in a timely fashion. So the number one thing that drives all physical symptoms of anxiety outside some of the other core fears. So like, let's say you have a core fear of dying with health OCD. You're going to get a bunch of different cancer scares, aneurysm scares, Parkinson's, neurodegenerative stuff, pulmonary problems. We know that. But the main problem is the fear of fear. And the fear of the unknown, of when the sensations and the urges and, the pull to solve something, when that's going to happen. Is it going to happen on my wedding day? Is it going to happen when I'm walking my dog? So the unknown perspective and the way you think about that is driving the fear response. So I'll give you an example, right? So activating event, okay? Physical symptoms of anxiety or pain or stomach problems, et cetera, et cetera. Belief system, if I notice this physical symptom of anxiety forever, my life is ruined. I can't stand these physical symptoms. There's nothing worse than physical symptoms of anxiety. I'd rather have anything else. When you're doing your disputing homework and breaking down your beliefs, really take a real, true, honest look at how detrimental and catastrophic you're holding those beliefs. Because you're not holding them like this. Yeah, I really wouldn't mind if physical symptoms were there forever. Because if you had that, you wouldn't have chronic anxiety. You wouldn't be doing compulsions. The urges and the intrusiveness wouldn't be nearly as severe. And they'd be much more back to a normalized response. I don't enjoy using the word normalized, but if you looked at someone who didn't have OCD, and you looked at the response, not always, because of the way the world, as I joke, is moving to like this one mindset of being a hypochondriac, which is really unhealthy because all the perfect sleep, perfect workout, perfect nutrition, et cetera, et cetera. But, if you look at the way I look at it now, if I wake up in the morning and I go hiking like I did on Saturday, I slept a couple hours and had to drive. I had a headache. I was at high altitude. I got altitude sickness when I was at 14,000 feet because I didn't drink a lot of water. And I only had an energy drink, and I think I had like 40 calories. So I really didn't eat a whole lot, maybe a couple almonds. I wasn't really hungry. Then when I got up there, I was like, God, my head's killing me. I was really kind of dizzy and lightheaded. And I said, I got to descend really fast. But there wasn't an extreme sense to solve that. I wasn't panicking, sprinting down the mountain. I had to sit down a couple times. It really got really bad. So I think I had to stop when I was descending 3 or 4 times to kind of be like, all right, just gather yourself. Don't fall, because it was a really steep descent on really loose gravel. And then when I got to tree line, it was better. But in the past, I probably would have freaked out and been like, oh my gosh, I have to solve this now. Sprinting, pushing people out of my way, whatever I had to do, falling, twisting my ankle, breaking my arm, whatever it took to get away from those sensations. So people don't realize that the need to have the sensations gone and the catastrophic thinking and the way you view those sensations, again, I know that sounds repetitive, it's what's driving this entire cycle. It drove it for me for a really long time. So what did I have to do practically? Okay, because again, I'm not just talking about the heart palpitations and the sweaty and all that stuff. I'm talking about all the physical symptoms. I'm talking about all the stomach problems, all the bloating and the gassing, the diarrhea and the constipation, all the headaches, all the migraines, all the cancer scares, all the nerve pain, etc. So number one is you got to stop Googling and researching. Number one, it's got to go. You can go to your yearly checkup. Any more than that, there's almost never a need for someone to do more. I haven't been to my primary care for a checkup in like 8 years. Maybe once. That's not true. I think I went when I was suffering with Erica. Yeah, I did. But I think I've gone one time in like 6 or 8 years. I just don't care to. There's no need. I go to the gym. I hike mountains. I'm extremely in good shape. I'm in extremely good shape. I sprint twice a week and I eat balanced. And I don't smoke and I don't drink. I smoke cigarettes maybe a couple times a year at festivals, and I'm a cigar enjoyer because I was a big-time cigarette smoker, and I drink maybe a couple beers a month. There's no need for me to ever go to a medical doctor. None. So, I mean, even when I'm having pains. Because what happens is we've taught ourselves that there are things to solve when there's pain or physical symptoms. That's why Paul David's book, At Last, the Life, is so good. If you don't know where to find our books, go to our reading list at ocrecovery.com. Free resource tab, scroll down, last book, Paul David's book, At Last, the Life. Very similar to Claire Weeks' book, which is the second book, Self-Help for Your Nerves. But Paul David's book is just really good from running for symptoms. And that's just the way I see the life. Is that the best option? No. Should I go to the doctor once a year for a physical checkup? Sure. Am I going to? No. I'm just not going to. I probably won't start going to the doctors for yearly checkups until I'm in my 50s. Unless I have a major problem. So when I'm 34 in November, so I probably have a good 20 years left in me before I start going to the doctors. Now, it doesn't mean if I have a cold or a flu or something, I don't go get antibiotics or a steroid pack, because that's true, but I don't go for physicals or checkups. I see no need. It doesn't make sense. Now, what happens is because people are so honed in on what Google says, it doesn't matter what Google says. What matters is, and again, I don't use these terms a whole lot, your common sense is absolutely warped with OCD, and you can't logic your way out. But I look at it. I look at the cost-benefit analysis and say, why would I go do that when I do all these other things that most people don't do, and I'm as healthy as I could be? You know, and that's that. Could I be healthier? Sure. Everyone could be healthier. Everyone could be smarter. Everyone could read more books. But that's just not a good way to live your life, in my opinion, because you're chasing. So a little bit off topic there, but it is important to cover that. So when you're doing your disputing homework, you got to remember the belief drives it. Okay, your hatred for physical symptoms is what drives it. The need to confess, the need to vent, the need to ask for reassurance, the need to Google, all that stuff is what's keeping the cycle alive right now. And that's a very, very important thing to remember. On top of that, and this is very, very key, there's nothing to do in the moment. If I'm sitting here right now having high anxiety, the only thing for me to do is to continue on with the video, produce the content, get on with my life as best as I can. Much easier said than done, but very, very, very necessary. So I just want you to remember that when you're going throughout changing your relationship with physical symptoms. Again, yes, the health component is there. Yes, the fear of death is there, but your perspective on the sensation itself is the driving factor for keeping you stuck. So thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to read that first book on the reading list. The fifth book on the reading list, Paul David's book, is really good for physical symptoms. You're not going to be able to solve anything in the moment. There's no tip or trick. It's all about changing perspectives on sensations further down the road. Excuse me. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you need help with this, please email us at phil@ocdrecovery.com. And then just to give you all a kind of update of what's coming up next on some of the videos, I got a lot of good ones coming out. OCD and cheating, breaking down the fears surrounding cheating and why society is so catastrophic around cheating. Like I can just see my book in the background. More disputing mistakes. I've been getting a lot of questions on that. Another good one I haven't done is why we don't need to explain OCD to loved ones and why that holds us back. Another HOCD video and gay OCD, dealing with the urges, the sensations, sitting with the unknown, changing your relationship with what you think about losing your values. And then triggers with OCD. I can feel a sneeze coming. Oh, man. That's the worst when you have to sneeze, and because it feels so good, and then boop, gone. I've worked with people with sneezing OCD before, too. Fear of having an aneurysm, holding a sneeze, and et cetera, sensory motor. And then, so triggers with OCD, which I think will be a really, really good one. One last thing too, and this doesn't really have to do too much with physical symptoms, but I think it can help with the perspective. Watching documentaries on things. I'm watching a documentary with my wife right now about the account. They called him the accountant of Auschwitz. So he was the person that took all of he went to court not that long ago. He was 93, and they had a lot of people come in and testify against him, people that were survivors from Auschwitz. And when you watch those documentaries or you watch gang documentaries, it can help shift your perspective on, all the gratitude you have in your life. Even if you never changed and even if you had physical symptoms forever, it is really not the end of the world. It's certainly not comfortable, but it's certainly not horrific. So it is important. The gratitude mattered the most for me for that. So thank you so much for watching again. Please email us at phil@ocdrecovery.com and we'll hopefully hear from you soon or see you on the webinars every Tuesday. Have a good one, everyone.